guys, in this video we're going to explore Moire patterns. So a Moire pattern can be created whenever you have two things overlaid with each other that are slightly offset, and also they have to have similar patterns to each other. So here I have a screen with a series of parallel lines, and here's an identical screen to that. So let's see what happens when I put them on top of each other. I rotate it a bit so you see the lines, and then it kind of looks like they disappear, but if you were to look up very close you would just see a series of squares. I'll rotate it back. Okay, so let's talk about these patterns. So what I had before were two screens with similar patterns, and I placed one screen in front of the other and you saw an image appear from those two screens. So on the whiteboard I've drawn a couple of images to demonstrate this. So let's say that our first screen was laid vertical and our second screen was horizontal. The net result of putting those two screens on top of each other would create an array of squares. So this happened when I had the two screens crossed with each other, or perpendicular. But because the lines are really closely spaced together, the squares themselves were very small, so you probably didn't see them very well. What you probably thought was more interesting was when I had the screens slightly offset from each other. So in this example, we have our lines completely vertical. And then we add on top of that some lines that are slightly offset from vertical. The net result that we get is something where we have points of intersection that are all lined next to each other. And because on the screens themselves the lines are closely spaced, these dots, these dark spots, were also closely spaced together and they created one dark band. So those are the bands that you were seeing before. So this idea of adding patterns on top of each other can be referred to as superposition, and that we superimpose this pattern on top of this pattern to get a net result of the two. So now we're going to take a close-up of just one of the screens. And what you may be seeing right now is a weird pattern of wavy lines. So before, when we had two screens, because they had similar patterns and they were slightly offset from each other, they created a new image, a new superposition of those two screens on top of each other. So this can be referred to as an interference pattern. So what does that mean though if you're seeing an interference pattern with just one screen? What is the other thing that's interfering with it? So this kind of reminds me of whenever I'm taking a picture of maybe my computer screen or a TV. I also get an image that has these weird wavy lines. So if before, when we had two screens laid on top of each other with similar images, if that was the necessary thing to make an interference pattern, that must mean that the way that we take digital images is also based off of a pattern of vertical and horizontal lines. And because of this, when you put an array of vertical or horizontal lines in front of a camera, you see these interference patterns because they're interfering with the way that the camera itself takes the image. And this can also be seen when you're taking an image of a computer screen or maybe a TV, because those are also making images off of a similar pattern.